Hello, everybody. It's Beetle Man 69 coming to you again. I know you're probably getting tired of me, but as you know, the copy of the 50th anniversary of All Things Must Pass, I had a warped record. It was record two. It was severely warped. Most of you, I'm sure, have seen the video of it. Um, I was gonna live with it, but paying what I paid for this, um, I wasn't gonna settle because of you know it. It has to be right. You can't just take and settle for something. Now, if it had like a slight warp in it, you know, I probably wouldn't have worried about it. But because it was warped so bad, I felt like I just needed to exchange it, and it didn't affect the way the needle wrote on the record. And actually, the needle kind of just followed the contour of the record. It didn't skip or jump or anything. It was just, you know, was short of being right. And you pay all this money, for stuff you expect it to be right. So I got in touch with my rec store owner. He told me to bring it on up, and I took it up today, just August 8th, and she checked it out. The daughter that works there checked it out because he wasn't there, and she saw the bad warpage in it, and I told her which one it was. So she asked me, "This is the one, my replacement." She asked me because she opened it and inspect the records in here to make sure they're not warped. And I told her, "Sure, go ahead." And I was there, standing there, and she put them on the turntable, each one, and turn the turntable on and let it spin and make sure there wasn't a warp in it. And I was, the record player was right there, and I saw it too. And she did all 5 albums, and she said, "Well, they're all good." I said, "Yes, they are," and I really appreciate it. So I got me they made it right, and I am so glad that I bought it from a record store, even though I might pay $10 more for it. I can depart with $10, because I was glad. Because see, if I had bought it offline somewhere, then I had to go through all that hassle of returning it and not knowing the replacement was going to be good or not. At least taking it to at least when I bought it at the store, I took it back and they inspected it, inspected the replacement to make sure they were flat before I got it. And which that's what I like. And I'm a firm believer in supporting my brick and mortar stores. I do go to record stores. I do buy offline too. I'm not a totally online person, but I like the excitement of flipping through records and stuff. Granted, you can't always find all like some of the older stuff there. Sometimes you got to go on eBay or Amazon or wherever to find this, the older stuff, which is fine. But when you get this newer stuff, I prefer just go to the store and have the excitement of flipping through records. And all the 180 gram vinyls I've ever bought, I've never ran into a warped record before, ever. Even over here, even the 180 gram remaster of All Things Must Pass weren't warped. So, this was, they've been having problems with this George Harrison set for some reason wherever they're pressed, and their QC is just dropping the ball. So, but I'm glad they made it right, and I got flat records, so I'm really happy with that. So I'm gonna give my take on this mix. When I first listened to Bobby Whitlock crying about it, and it really discouraged me. I said, "Well, man, maybe I shouldn't, spend the money on it because, if it's crap, I'm not buying it." But then I've talked to other people on Facebook who have bought it, and they said it was great, and whatnot. So I'm gonna take it their word for it because I know that Bob Whitlock's probably got some issues with the Harrison estate, and maybe he was just being a jerk about it just to keep people from buying it, which is possible. I don't know. I don't know the man personally, but anything's possible. But I went and bought it, like I said, and I listened to it. I actually listened to it twice. I listened to it when I first got it, and that's when I noticed the warp record. And then listened to it today um, before I made this video. And I don't see nothing wrong with them. To me, with my ears, I think it's great. I think, to me, the record sounds natural instead of all the heavy production. It sounds natural. It sounds like you were there sitting in the studio with George and the band and just listening to him play without all the tricks and all the heavy production. Just listen to it naturally in its natural sound. That's my take on it. I think that's basically how it sounds to me. I don't think it took away a lot. It took away. I mean, of course, listen to the production version of it, the original version of it. Yeah, it sounds different, and this is going to sound different. This is going to sound more bare bones. And I think a lot of people just so used to listening to the original, and then when you get this and listen to it, it's like, oh man, that's horrible. What are they doing? Because we're so accustomed to listening to the original, which the original is fine. I'm not going to forsake the original. I'm going to listen to both. So I just think that this is more of a natural sounding record. Like I said, like on Wah Wah, there's some guitars in there that you don't hear in the original mix because it either got buried in the mix or drowned out. My Sweet Lord, it sounds fine to me. I don't know what people are complaining about. Yeah, it may not have that reverb in it, but it sounds good. A lot of these songs sound good. What is Life? What is Life? Is not maybe as punchy as the original, but it just sounds natural. If Not For You sounds great. Behind That Locked Door is a pretty song, and it sounds good. Let It Down, it's still got that big boom at the beginning, So, it didn't take too much away from that. Isn't It a Pity was great. It still had all the backing vocals when he went into the Isn't It a Pity, going throughout the whole throughout the at the end, that long ending, it was still there. Of course, it didn't have that big wall sound, but all the backing vocals were still there, and it just sounded natural. Beware of Darkness was great. Apple Scrust, it was so natural. It just wasn't doctored up. It was George singing it, just George singing it. There was none of this overlay and stuff to doctor it up and cover things up. Sometimes in his vocals you could tell he may have made a little bit of a mistake, or he may have said a word at the end of a stanza, and you can hear him stop singing. Just the way you sing. A lot of that stuff was covered up in the original mix. Ballad of Sir Frankie Chris, Let It Roll. That one right there. Much as I've listened to George Harrison, All Things Must Pass album, as much as I've listened to it, and I've listened to it thousands of times, the original album, the CD, and even the remaster I got over here, I had not ever noticed them singing "Oh Sir Frankie Crisp" at all. I never noticed it. Subconsciously, I never noticed it. I don't know, because it wasn't there. I mean, in my mind, it wasn't there. But when I listened to this mix, it was there, and it was prominent because they didn't have all that production on top of it. And then I said, well, let me. That's interesting. So I listened to the 2001 remix that George did. Well, George did it in 2000, but it was released in 2001. But I listened to that version, and I was listening, and I knew about where it is in the song. And then I heard it, but I didn't hear it. It wasn't like up front, but I heard it. I heard him singing, "Oh, Sir Frankie Crisp." but it wasn't like real prominent. But because I was my ears in my mind, I was looking for it in the song. I actually heard it. So then I went to the remix, the 180 gram remaster on the vinyl, put it on, and I heard it. I mean, like I said, it wasn't real out there, but I was looking for it, and I heard it. Then I listened to the original mix, the original analog, and I heard it too because I was looking for it. And it's weird. As much as I've listened to this album over the years, I ain't never noticed it. I mean, I probably would have heard something, but I just didn't know exactly what it was because it was so buried in the mix. Well, like buried in it, but it was mixed in there. But it was, so it wasn't really out front. It was just a little bit behind there in the mix. But yeah, it was weird. It's weird how that, now that you're looking for it, you'll hear it. But if you didn't know it was there, you probably didn't even notice it. So, I'm waiting on you all. It sounds kind of flat because of the production was stripped off of it, because that's what we're used to hearing. But it was, it wasn't punchy, but it was just natural. Yeah, you could have, the production does help it a lot. And so a lot of these songs, production does help it. So I'm not putting Spector's, production down by no means, because that's what George wanted, originally. But, and All Things Must Pass, it sounds natural. It's just, George singing it. There's no, some of these songs still have the overdubs, like when they sing "Oh So Frank," of course. I mean, it could have been an overdub. I'm not sure. Then again, it was probably somebody in the background singing it, while they're recording it. I'm not really sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I Dig Love, it's just natural sounding song. Art of Dying was really great. It didn't have all that big production on there, and it just sounded raw. These songs sound raw. Isn't It a Pity version 2? It was good. You could hear the backing vocals. You can hear when it starts to trail off. You can hear people singing "Pity, isn't it a pity?" The backing vocals, not George singing it, probably somebody else, but you can hear them singing it. Which I don't think on the original it's not so noticeable. With all that production laid on top of it. And Hear Me Lord is nice and raw, not having all that production on there. And overall, the album sounds natural. Just like listening to Paul McCartney's McCartney album, listening to John Lennon's POB album, or his Imagine. It's just a natural sounding record. To me, to my ears. So that's my take on it. Some people are downplaying it and giving it F's, whatever. I think it's good with my ears. I don't think it's bass heavy. I don't think it's muddy like Whitlock said. I don't think it's muddy. I think it's good. I really do. I mean, if Giles Martin had remixed it, it might have been a little bit better. It's just my opinion. Maybe a little bit brighter in sound. But, overall, I think this is a great album. So, that's my take on it. I appreciate you watching my video, and thank you to my new subscribers out there. And if you like the video, thumbs up the video. I appreciate it. And leave a comment. I always answer them when I see them. And so, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. I'm probably going to make another video, maybe next week. I'm not sure. See what happens. So, catch you again. Y'all stay safe and spin that vinyl.